Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a while. I've been so busy. It's been a lot of work as a student in France, and that's why I've not been very available or consistent with my YouTube. But now I think I'm back. I'm not sure, but I think I'm back. I'm trying to be more consistent with my YouTube now. So I'm just going to be giving you guys an update of what has been happening and what is currently happening and what I'll be up to in the next few months or the next phase of my life here in France. So from the title of this video, I'm sure you guys are kind of curious about, oh, what's this all about? What is it about to register us or talk to us about? Yes, I'll be starting a new phase of my journey here in France as a student. I'm currently rounding off my first master's degree, and after which I'll be starting another master's degree, but this time around it's a work and study program, which is an apprenticeship kind of program where I will be working full-time with a company. So this video is just to gist you guys about how that experience has been securing the placement and eventually getting to do this next phase of my academic journey here in this particular company that I got a placement with. But from the title, you could see that I said that I interviewed with four global multinationals here in France, and it's been a very refreshing experience for me. I will be honest with you guys. It feels so good to be able to get interviewed by this company. It's not even about the fact that I didn't get into the company, but I got into one. But the fact that the stage I got to in each of these companies symbolizes that I kind of got something right as regards seeking my apprenticeship within this company and the process I went through, how strategic I was, and I'm ready to give you guys all the teas about how this happened, how I gained admission into this the particular school I'll be attending, and how I was able to also secure interviews with these companies and the experience so far. So let me start from the beginning of how I got into the program. Before I came to France, right, I had a particular program in mind, which is the program I'm now going for. That was the school I wanted to attend the first time I thought of coming to France, or the first time I considered France as my preferred destination for my master's degree. But at that time, due to some certain limitations, I couldn't get into the program, which I believe one of the reasons why I didn't get in there was that I didn't have an international experience, which was kind of required, even though I will not say that was the ultimate reasons, but I feel like that it's part of the reason. And so I got another opportunity, which is the program I'm on currently, and I got in. But however, I still wanted that program. I wanted that unique experience of combining a full-time role with academics. I know it's going to be very tedious, but I'm up to it. I'm ready for it. So when I got the chance to apply to the school again, and I know that I have a better chance now of getting in, I took the opportunity. I applied to the program, and since I have all of my documents required ready, I got in. I got an offer from the school, and the next phase was for me to secure an apprenticeship contract, which is what we support the program. So for programs like this, you don't pay tuition fee, you don't pay anything aside the usual civic that we all pay as international students here in France. The companies that you get a contract with is expected to take care of all of your expenses when it comes to your studies, whether the tuition, your monthly pay. These are things that comes from the company. So I was very particular about the kind of company I wanted to do my apprenticeship. So I needed a company where it would be easy for me to be able to cope, being that I'm not a French speaker. I'm an English speaker. My program is also taught in English. So I needed an environment, a global environment where English was the language of operation or the language of communication there. So so after the admission, one of the things that they told us during the process was that while we are writing our CVs, structuring out our CV, we should indicate the school on our CV, because the school I got in is a top school here when it comes to the field of HR, when it comes to apprenticeship. So it's one of the top, if not the top school in HR field here in France. So, and they have this kind of this partnership with most of these companies here in France, because they've been doing this for the longest of time. So a lot of companies here are familiar with the school, they are familiar with their students, and they kind of have that reputation, that prestige already. So I started off as structuring my CV to by indicating the name of the school on the CV. But another thing I did was that I was very particular, because I had a struggle during my internship search that I couldn't get an opportunity because of the fact that I had experience. I am an experienced HR professional, so I think that kind of limited my chances, because I remember getting two response then that I was giving high level responses during my interview, and then there's somebody that literally did not have any knowledge or experience, or maybe basic experience for the role. So they felt like I will get bored on the role because I'm not an intern, I'm not at the intern level. However, I would have still wanted the opportunity regardless, but it is what it is. But this time around, I kind of leveraged that experience to be able to secure an apprenticeship, because for apprenticeship they want to know if you have some sort of experience. It's needed for the role. I remember doing my interview to the admission interview. It was very critical because I got interviewed by, I think, a panel of 3 or 4 people: the academic representative, a professional representative, and I think the director of the program, and I think our apprenticeship coordinator. I think it was a team of 4 people doing the admission interview. So I think the essence of that was to check if you have what it takes to be on the program, so that it will be easy for you to secure apprenticeship contracts when you start to apply to companies. So when I started to now apply, I was very strategic. So this is what I did. I ensured that I'm not just throwing applications. I look through the companies I intend to apply to. I ensure that I meet the basic requirement or the minimum requirement for the role. I didn't just want to apply hoping that they will call me and hoping that they will consider my CV. I was applying because I know my CV can be considered. So any programs that needed in French as the language of communication, I didn't apply. This time around, I was very strategic. I was applying to roles that specifically stated that English is the language of communication, or didn't indicate that I needed to have a level of French proficiency to be able to be on the job. So I was very particular. So I remember my first interview was with is it Big? Yes, my first interview was Big. I got to the second stage, but however, I got a response from the person recruiter that the demand for the role changed, and they needed somebody that could speak a level of French, because I'll be interacting with locals on the job. So that kind of ended my interview with Big. Then after, I moved to Pernod Ricard. Pernod Ricard is a wine and spirit brand, a global brand. I also got into the last stage with the manager on the role, but I think the same issue happened, because the response they gave me was that they went with the other candidate, which I believe maybe the other candidate had some level of advantage than I do. But the fact that I was even interviewed by this global brand or global organization is one thing that just made sense to me, that I did something right. My CV could get to that level where I was called up for an interview, and I was able to get to like second stage, third stage, which means I was doing something right. Then after that, I went on with L'Oreal. See, for me, to be interviewed by these global multinationals was a big deal for me. The L'Oreal interview was a great experience. Even though I didn't get in, I loved the experience. I also got into the last stage with the manager on that, but they eventually went to the candidate. And the last one is with SLB. SLB was the quickest and the fastest of them all. Everything happened after the whole interview happened within a week. After I got my first call, I think 2 weeks before that, I got a call from the recruiter over the phone, spoke with me when I was available for interview, and I said I'm available anytime they're ready. So I made a reminder to that call, and I was scheduled for an interview. Between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I did like 2 interviews. After the phone call interview, I did 2 other interviews. Then on Thursday of that same week, I got an offer. One of my last interview was a presentation about myself, my experience, what I'll be doing on the role, and it was really a great experience for me, and I got in, and I'm really glad to be having my apprenticeship done in this company, in a global technological energy company here in France, and I believe it's going to be a great experience. So that's what has been happening so far, and with other things happening with life as a student here and surviving. But that's just how my current reality is, and what my next phase will be looking at by next month. I'll be starting my apprenticeship next month, which is like I'll be starting 3 weeks before the program actually starts, which is necessary for me to just get acquainted with the role before the academic aspect starts. So that's my story so far, and I think I will try and document my journey during the apprenticeship, my experiences. I'll make a content, make videos about it, and share with everyone here on YouTube. So that's it all, guys. So I'll try and you will see me soon. I'll try and get back here very soon with another video. But for now, bye.